Hey everybody. Sorry, I'm looking a little gruffy. I just woke up a little bit ago, and hope that light's not bothering y'all too much. But first of all, the Baphomet thing. I done spent about 20 minutes looking into it. Based on what I've observed already, I feel like there's quite a few points that I could bring up that suggest that a lot of all the bullshit that's happening in the world is because of patterns of information like this Baphomet character. So if anybody wants to, discuss why they think it's a good idea to continue to perpetuate these things, I'd love to do so. But I feel like I've researched enough to where I'm good with what I know, so I'm just gonna keep it moving. And also move on to this whole tornado situation in Kentucky in the Midwest, and what was the other, Missouri? I think there was an issue there in Missouri. It's really sad, man. As I'm reading through the articles and I'm looking up things like, was there a storm shelter? Was there a warning system? Like, how are tornadoes, formed? And, based on the one art, which when I typed in, was there a warning? There wasn't a lot that popped up. I actually had to spend some time to find an article that showed all the warnings. And there were more than a couple of warnings. In the preceding days even. So they were there. They weren't as, in my opinion, they didn't really align with the severity of the storm that did come. But, those type of things can, fluctuate, I suppose. However, based on what I've learned, and I'm going to continue doing more research into tornadoes and just weather in general, because from an energy standpoint, I kind of feel like I know how things work, but I really don't know the intricate details that we're being told about them. So I'm gonna look into it. But essentially, anytime that there's a lot of warm air, below and cold air up top, and they come together and they create that spiral horizontally, and if there's still continuing to be warm air on the bottom that's feeding that, then the funnel, is attracted to that warm energy or that warm air, and it fucking touches down to the ground. So anytime you're in an area that there is the potential for this cold and hot to fucking come together, you got yourself a tornado, potential for a tornado, especially if you're in Tornado Alley. That's the thing that's always tripped me about people who live in these areas. And I'm gonna make a video about this too, because there's a real simple thing we can do to help keep a lot of people from getting killed and damages being done. A lot of it has to do with the whole way we build our houses. Like, you see this whole house right here? You guys can't really see it, but it's squares. It's squares and flat walls. Okay, a square, it's a sail is essentially a flat, piece of cloth that is able to pick up the wind because it's flat and it's able to catch things. So when you have flat surfaces like houses and walls, they're like sails. And the roof, especially if it's got like an overhanging adjungment or any type of thing like that, is pretty much like a giant fucking lift device, like a wing, like a plane on a wing. So it makes sense that these houses get fucking torn up like there's nothing, because they're literally not designed at all to deflect the elements of Mother Nature. They're extremely wasteful. I think they're built like this by design. It does not take a rocket science, in my opinion, to realize that if you build a home that's just like a dome, it's going to be that much more aerodynamic. It just makes absolute fucking common sense to do it that way. And you can also use things like hempcrete to build them this way. You could even make them out of mud. It's ridiculous. Just in so many different ways. We cut down these trees that have been here for who knows how long, maybe hundreds of years. We build these fucking homes that aren't even harmonious with Mother Nature, but we get everything we need from Mother Nature to build these homes that go against Mother Nature. And then Mother Nature comes and wipes us out, and we're left like, what the fuck? And it's sad too, because like the factory where a lot of people died, they were all working overnight for Christmas. And it's like, this is what America or the world has turned into. Like, the whole notion of Christmas is really just a materialistic way of giving more shit that we don't need to other people, really. The heart and the essence of giving is great, but these corporations have used it for their gain. And now on top of that, they're since they're so fucking money fucking geared and obsessed, they continue to have people work knowing that there's the severity of a potential tornado happening, you know, very soon in that exact area where they're choosing to have people work 24/7 to fill Christmas demands for shit people really don't need. I mean, it was a candle factory, so candles aren't the worst thing in the world to produce, but, you know, at the end of the day, is it really worth it to go produce candles for Christmas in America when you know there's a very high possibility of a tornado coming? And again, it all goes back to money, because if these people don't show up to work, they get fired. So we are dependent on a satanic system that's literally killing ourselves. And this is the main problem. And then it goes into buying of these houses, and it just continues to perpetuate this fucking sick system. So, you know, I've been spending a lot of time trying to type up this 34 theoretical ideas of why this movement's going to change everything, which is good, and it's going to get done. But especially with this recent storm situation, you know, I'm feeling an urgency to just move forward with the actual intricacies of this business idea. And also, I've already been thinking about this, but now that we have the storm thing happening, it's the perfect opportunity to show people there's a different way of building houses. There's a different way of living. There's even a different way of detecting storms. Like, there's people like Joy and others who are very connected to Mother Nature, that it might not be a good idea to have them maybe kind of like be the quote unquote, you know, watchers of these type of weather phenomenon. You know, it's not really a phenomenon. We know how it works. But again, it goes into the money thing, and it also goes into where people just aren't paying attention to it, and they're relying on technology. Like, oh, technology's going to tell us if something's going to happen. You know, and we become reliant on these things that are disconnected to a large degree from the original form of Mother Nature. You know, and then there's also just the whole wicked, you know, intervention and influence that comes from where these devices come from. So it's like, you got to realize that there's a lot of talk about weather modification technology. So we don't know how much these storms have been fucked with on a man-made level. And then it goes into also the climate changes and how that, you know, our effect on the planet does have an effect on the temperature. And I mean, it gets deep. But you know, and this is my first video this morning, so I'm going to make some more today going further into these subjects. But you know, the idea that I've been talking about, it really, especially if you build homes the right way, like a dwelling, a circular, even just from an energy, spiritual standpoint, your energy is going to be more conducive in a good way, living in homes that are circular or spiraling in fashion, not squares. That's what keeps people blocked up and damned. So anyways, I hope y'all are doing well, and you know, just think about those things, man. Continue to perpetuate what's good for the rest of the earth and humanity. You know, yeah, shit's fucking crazy right now, but again, nothing ever dies. Everything is here to help. Everything is always changing. So it's like you can be a part of that destructive change, or you can